What's going on, Jerome's? The NFL draft is unfortunately rapidly approaching for the Minnesota Vikings, selecting 11 and 42 overall in the first and second rounds. And Kwesi, well, it's not just Kwesi, but Spielman as well has sort of ignored the defensive line. Remember, all the talk was like, well, Spielman ignores the offensive line. It's not the case. The defensive line is where the Vikings have been bereft, and it's certainly showed up. We have to get back to having the meets, and you look at teams that advance into the divisional round, and the Niners and the Ravens, they're all stout at the point of attack, up at the line of scrimmage, and the Vikings need to get back to building a bully. And Dane Brugler's recent 2-round mock draft over at The Athletic, one of our favorites, Vikings did just that. Now, with these, not going to spoil all of the picks, but the Vikings did have a shot at their quarterback of the future, whether in the first or the second round, but it is what it is. And if the Vikings do re-sign Kirk Cousins, maybe they go in a different direction, and they allocate resources to that big-time need, which, I mean, we said it. I mean, when you're starting defensive linemen, again, no disrespect, but when you're starting defensive linemen, week one are Dean Lowry and Jonathan Bullard. I don't know, man. I don't know. But at 11, Vikings go with UCLA edge rusher Latu Latu. Now, I believe he was the second edge rusher off the board. I think Dallas Turner went ahead of him, but the Vikings do crack that seal, and it's a spot where it's not your traditional top-end, top-heavy edge rusher class. I mean, like Will Anderson going 3 last year, or you see it all the time. Like an edge rusher will go top 5, top 3, and then there's everyone else. It's sort of like that, except it's just everyone else. And it's going to be a deep edge rusher class, but it's not tier 1. It's not top heavy. But Latu does have a lot of traits that certainly are scalable to the NFL. This is what Brugler wrote. Over his 2 seasons at UCLA, Latu accounted for 34 tackles for loss, 23.5 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles. He has first-step quickness and bend, but his crafty handwork and ability to diversify his attacks separate him as a pass rusher. His injury history could be an issue, but this Vikings regime has taken chances with those risks in the past. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. But Latu is 6'4", 261, high motor, 127 pressures, and 23.5 sacks over the last 2 seasons in Westwood. And a couple knocks against the medical things that he talks about. So he literally retired due to neck issues. He initially got his start at the University of Washington, and he was retired 2020, 2021, but he got back in, and he's been doing dynamite things for the Bruins the last 2 years. Could add some size to his frame, but of course, getting into an NFL strength and conditioning program would do wonders there. And edge rusher may be more of a pressing need than people think, especially if Danielle Hunter leaves and if DJ Wanham leaves. But Latu, I think, has a chance to blossom into an absolute stud and potentially be the best edge rusher in this class. In the second round, so the Vikings definitely need some defensive tackle help, and one of my favorite names of all time. So Ororo from that should say Clemson, not Texas. Could you imagine if Rook and Murphy and Sweat were on the same D-line at Texas? Just cancel football. It's over, man. But at 42, the Vikings double down along the defensive line. This is what Brugler wrote. The Vikings double up on the defensive line. I just said that. Well built at 6'4", 295 with 34-inch arms, Ororo is an impressive mover and offers a high ceiling after he was late to the game of football. So Ororo is... he only started playing football as a high school junior, but he's 6'4", 295. He's got long arms, and a 3-year starter for Clemson, and he's a redshirt senior, but he's only 21 years old. So it's something that you can certainly work with. 26 pressures, 5 sacks last year for the Tigers. And if you watch his tape, you really do get Cam Hayward vibes, where you have a guy that could set up as a 4-eye or a 5-tech at the defensive end spot, and you're good to go for a long time. But he can kick inside as well on passing downs, and he's maturing as a pass rusher. Right now, he still gets by on a lot of just physicality, but he's strong at the point of attack. He crashes down against the run. He plays exceedingly well against the run, and frankly, I think that he could develop into a terror as a pass rusher because he does have a nice first step. He does have that functional strength, and I think that he is a guy that is still growing and showing into his what his final form is going to be. And he's going to be a really interesting player at the NFL level. So, the Vikings picking up Rook Ororo in the second round, as well as Latu Latu in the first round. And, I mean, I would be pretty damn happy. Again, pending what happens in free agency, if Kirk Cousins is back, if Danielle Hunter is back, and it's still 1-2-1-2, maybe you sprinkle in Christian Wilkins along the defensive line, baby, we have a stew going. It would be pretty damn good, man. But your thoughts are our thoughts. Again, I just want to say Rook Ororo one more time. There it was. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts. The Athletics, Dane Brugler's 2-round mock draft. Vikings hammer down on that defensive line. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.